What's up, everybody? I am Gabriel Morency. Welcome to You Wager This, a Welcome to You Wager This a week, powered by www.youwager.eu. Check it out, guys. 100% sign-up bonuses, promo code SportsRage, 5% juice on Friday, sweetheart teasers, great MMA, UFC numbers. It's a great book. Check it out. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be hosting this podcast. So the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart will join me on the weekend edition of the program. We'll take a look at all the NFL games. We're going to kick the tires on all the NFL numbers right now, but I want to open up the program talking about the big injury that shook up the NFC. Shook it up. I remember when I was a kid, I went to an amusement park and I went on the ride, the salt and pepper shakers. It's basically just like a cage type thing, and it turns you upside down and shakes things up. And I was like 6 years old, man. I wasn't liking it at all. Stuff's falling out of my pockets. I'm crying. I'm like, stop it, stop the ride. They never stopped the ride. All right, I think Mike McCarthy right now wants to say, stop the ride for a second. Whoa, what just happened? I'll tell you what just happened. You just lost Aaron Rodgers. That's just what happened. It's Brett Hundley time right now for the Green Bay Packers. And so many ramifications right now. Now, first, the fantasy players, always about them. They're bitching. Now, listen, if you own Aaron Rodgers in a fantasy league, you can replace him, all right? Quarterbacks are replaceable. You're kind of screwed if you own Jordy Nelson or if you own a Devontae Adams. And you're kind of screwed if you own a Green Bay Packer future. So you look at this, you see a lot of quarterbacks come in right now. Jacoby Brissett's playing good football for the Colts. You see Deshaun Watson's come right out of college playing good football for the Houston Texans right now. Brett Hundley's been there for 3 years. And, McCarthy was asked about Kaepernick. How come you guys don't sign Kaepernick? And, I threw it out there as well. And he actually had a pretty good answer for it, that, you know what, we've invested 3 years in a Brett Hundley as our, to be a starting quarterback. So, and that is a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears, resources, research and development, etc., that was put into Brett Hundley. I don't know if Colin Kaepernick's that much better than Hundley. I know he's better than Callahan. And I know if Hundley goes down, you guys are in a lot of freaking trouble. Now, they have a bye week coming up. They get the Saints this week, and we'll get to the number in a second. But really shook things up as far as the NFC was concerned. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing good football, but the Green Bay Packers appeared to be the team to beat. Are they the team to beat anymore? No, they're not. I thought the Atlanta Falcons were going to be able to avoid the Super Bowl hangover. I don't know, man. It's, reality and perception are two different things, but the reality and the perception are pretty much bang on right now with the Atlanta Falcons. They're not scoring as many points as they did last year, and they can't hang on to a lead. You blew a 17-0 lead to Jay freaking Cutler, guys. All right, so as it is right now, the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm not writing the Falcons off yet, all right? Falcons have a massive game this week against the New England Patriots. I'm not writing the Falcons off, but the Falcons are plus 700 right now. But don't look now, but the Philadelphia Eagles are now favored to win the NFC. Philadelphia Eagles are favored to win the NFC. It's insane. Nobody even thought the Eagles were a damn playoff team coming into the year. It was all about the New York Giants. I told people the Giants are overrated. It's about the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are not out of this yet either. So a very, very interesting development right now. The Philadelphia Eagles are now favored to win the NFC. They're plus 375. Seattle Seahawks are plus 475 right now. They're the second choice. And then, you got your teams in the 7-1, 10-1 range. Your Atlanta Falcons are 7-1. Carolina Panthers are 10-1. Green Bay Packers are now 10-1. Minnesota Vikings plus 950. Vikings are too banged up. You can't see the Vikings actually winning the NFC. New Orleans Saints are an interesting team right now. They seem to be peaking and coming together. They're 12-1 to win the NFC right now. Washington Redskins, 16-1 to win the NFC. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a trendy Buccaneer team. People have given up on them. They're now 33-1. So let's take a look at some of the numbers for Week 7 of the National Football League. And remember, Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. He said that after 8 weeks. Well, we're going into Week 7 right now. I'm still not really sure who some of these teams are, but the standings are starting to take shape a little bit right now. It's way too early to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl or winning the NFC. But it's not too early to start talking about the Eagles, getting home field advantage in the NFC playoffs, which is a distinct advantage. You know the Eagles next, they're 5-1, the Eagles, and they have 3 straight home games, and 4 of their next 5 games are at home, actually. But let's start off with Thursday Night Football with 2 teams that are coming off a loss. We've had so many bad Thursday nighters over the years. We actually have a pretty interesting matchup here. We've got some decent Thursday night. They've done a better job with it. They've done a better job with it this year. All right, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs laying 3 points at the Oakland Raiders. The Chiefs lose for the first time this year. They lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Chiefs look to bounce back. They're laying 3. The Raiders are on a 3-game losing streak right now. Derek Carr came back, and they still managed a way to find a way to lose that game against the LA Chargers. I don't think Jack Del Rio is a very good coach. We talked about the Raiders a lot in the offseason. The Raiders won 12 games. Their winning margin was 31 points. It was the lowest winning margin of victory for a 12-win team in the history of the National Football League. They were going to regress. This is a tough football game. The Raiders season is basically done. And that might be a little bit extreme, but if they lose 4 games in a row, they're really going to be burying themselves. They've lost division games. The Raiders are in trouble. They don't look like a playoff caliber football team right now. Still a little bit early, but if they lose this game, I think they're done. So I'm a little hesitant to step up. I usually bet the Chiefs in this game when they go to Oakland. Chiefs are minus 155 on the money line. The total is 47. And I have to give you a pick right now on this game because we're not going to be back until Friday on YouWager with the weekend edition with Cam. So I can't not take the Kansas City Chiefs here, but it's not my best bet of the week. But not that it matters because it's not like my best bets win all the time. Tennessee Titans laying 5.5 points right now to Cleveland Browns. We saw Marcus Mariota return on Monday Night Football, and we also saw the worst or the best beat freaking ever, depending on what side of it you were on. You can tell when I just did this, what side of it I was on. I got screwed over, man. I had the Colts plus the points. I had the Colts on a teaser. I ended up losing both plays with that Derrick Henry touchdown. Did he step out of bounds? Maybe. I don't know. They didn't freaking review it, so I don't know. This line feels a little low, doesn't it? I know, sharps and wise guys and everybody always tries to make a case as to why the Cleveland Browns are a bet-on team on any given week. It's hard to do, man. The Browns are freaking terrible. The Browns are terrible. And what are they now? What are they, 1-21 now? 1-21 under Hugh Jackson? 1-15 and 0-6? They're a freaking train wreck, this football team. Tennessee Titans laying 5.5 points in this game. The over-under is 46.5. Jacksonville Jaguars against this Colts team. This is an interesting game here. One thing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they've alternated wins and losses on a weekly basis. So they seem they would be up for a win right now. The Colts are coming off a short week. Doug Marrone's no Mensa member, but I'll tell you what, he's a better coach than Chuck Pagano. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. That's all. There's the only other way to put it. Chuck Pagano's just not a good coach. He needs Andrew Luck to throw 6 touchdown passes for him to win a damn football game. I'm not in love with it, but I lean with the Jags minus the 3 on the road here. Total's 44 in that football game. Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are a weird team that really pissed me off. I've been on the wrong side of Steeler games. I bet them and they're terrible. I bet against them and they step up and win. That's the thing with the damn NFL. Whatever happened last week, just basically fade that. This game opened up at 6. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now minus 5. The total is 41.5. Bengals are plus 190 on the money line, minus 230. If you're wondering about the money lines on the Titans and the Browns and the Jags and the Colts, you wager no money line as of this taping of the podcast. So Steelers are minus 230 on the money line. Total is 41.5. You think the Bengals can win this game outright, plus 190. The Bengals, of course, coming out of a bye week. And the Bengals haven't fully righted the ship, but we told you guys when the Bengals, earlier in the year, the Bengals aren't done. You look at the division they play, and the Ravens are a joke. The Cleveland Browns are a joke. So if you're the Bengals, it's basically the Bengals and the Steelers. If you're the Bengals and you win this game, you're right back in things despite the disastrous start to the season. Bengals are getting 5 points. I tend to believe this is going to be a close football game, and Andy Dalton will find a way to screw it up. Interesting game, big game. Like I said, this time of the year right now, these games are starting to count. Baltimore Ravens, speaking of the Ravens, man, this team's another team I can't get a read on. Joe Flacco blows. There's some professional analysis for you. Joe Flacco blows. They're a tough team to get a read on, Baltimore, because, they look bad one week, terrible, then they respond. I don't trust the Minnesota Vikings laying 5.5 points here. Money line is 245. Ravens are plus 205. The total is 40. I don't know where the point's going to come from in this game either. I look at this game and I'm thinking under. I hate betting unders, but where are the points going to come from with these two defenses and these two anemic offenses? Yeah, I'm looking under in this game here. 40. I don't like betting unders, but I'm looking at the under in that game. All right, is it an interesting game? No, it's a disaster, but for betting purposes, I think we have a spot here. If you remember, 3 weeks ago, I was all over the New York Jets plus 6 against the Miami Dolphins. And I think the final score, what was it, 19-6? The Jets dominated the football game. Now, it's interesting, what a difference a day can make, what a difference a minute can make, what a difference a half of football can make. Because last week at the half, when the Dolphins were down 17-0 to the Dirty Birds, people online were like, all right, you got to bench Jay Cutler. You got to bring Matt Moore in. Jay Cutler's it's a big disaster. It's a big bust. The smoking Jay Cutler gifts were flying fast and furious like Jay Cutler interceptions. And I don't know, 30 minutes of football later, the Dolphins come back and beat the Atlanta Falcons, and suddenly, now the Dolphins are only laying 3. I think the number's too short here. This is a revenge spot. I'm not a big revenge better guy when it comes to professional sports, but I don't see this New York Jet team beating the Miami Dolphins twice in a span of a month. And I've talked to a lot of sharp guys who think the Jets probably don't win another football game this year. Although, they could have and they should have maybe beaten the Patriots, depending on your perspective, whether they got screwed over by the NFL. But the referees are idiots. And even when they review things in this league, it doesn't change anything. I think the number's a fair one. Give me the Miami Dolphins. I like the Dolphins in this game. I'll lay the 3 points with the fish. I've had a pretty good handle on Miami this year as well, betting on and against them. Total's 38.5 in this football game. I'll lay the 3 points. Payback, revenge. Give me the Miami Dolphins. Carolina Panthers laying 3 points on the road. Here's another 3-point point spread game. At Chicago. Chicago coming off the win against Baltimore. Meanwhile, Carolina's going to be off since the Thursday nighter. Now, it's interesting. We talked about this on the weekend edition, and of course, me and Cam cursed it. The teams that played on Thursday night were 8-0 against the spread in their following games. Well, make it 8-2. Make it 8-2 now, because the Bucs didn't cover and the Patriots didn't cover. So now we have the Panthers and the Eagles in this spot. I just think, the Panthers, Cam Newton screwed up that game. He threw the interception late. I think the Panthers will get back on track in this spot. I'll lay the 3 here. Panthers are minus 170 on the money line. The total is 40.5. All right, we've had some line movement in this St. Packer game. So Brett Hundley is going to be the starting quarterback. He threw a touchdown, but he also threw 3 interceptions, man, when he came in for Aaron Rodgers. You got to give the kid a little bit of slack. Tough spot coming in unexpectedly against that Minnesota Viking defense. Now he's had a week to prepare. The game is in Green Bay. He gets a softer Saints defense. Nice matchup for him. But if I'm the Packers, I'm going to run the ball with Aaron Jones a lot now. I would change my game plan. I mean, you can't get into a track meet with the New Orleans Saints. I think the total's too low. I don't think the Packers are going to be able to avoid it. I think Brett Hundley will be able to throw. Will it surprise you if Brett Hundley throws 2 touchdowns, but he throws 2 picks as well in this game? The Saints are 5.5. It's funny. I don't know why I thought this game was in New Orleans for some reason. I kept thinking it was in New Orleans, but it's not. It's in Green Bay. I'm not ready to lay the 5.5 points here. Although the Saints are a team that's trending upwards right now. They really are. Like I said, we'll give you our pick on Friday. The Saints are 5.5 point favorites, minus 245 on the money line. Packers are plus 205 on the money line. Over/under is 48, and as I stated, feels a little low to me. Feels a little low this game. Arizona Cardinals. When we went to the IFBC with SBR, and thanks to SBR, great guys over at SBR, and that's how we got hooked up with the good people over at YouWager, actually. I did a presentation about how I thought the Arizona Cardinals, you look at their soft schedule, I thought Carson Palmer was in a good bounce-back situation. I told people the Arizona Cardinals would win more than 8.5 football games this year. And when David Johnson went down and John Brown was always injured, they have all these injuries and lethargicness. I was like, man, I'm screwed. But they're grinding right now. You know, they've managed to win 3 football games. It hasn't been easy, but they managed to win 3 football games right now. Now they get 3.5 points against this Rams team. Nice win for the Rams, but anybody that watched that game, if you didn't watch that Rams-Jags game, and for the record, I saw most of it, but I didn't see the second half because there was a mini tornado in Toronto where I am right now. So I lost my cable and my internet. NFL Sunday, what a time to lose your cable and your internet, man, but I did. But it pissed me off because I had the Jags, and I saw both the special teams touchdowns, and I was watching on my phone. And everything I said about that game came to fruition. I said that Leonard Fournette would run the ball and have a huge day. He did. I said that Jared Goff would struggle and the Rams offense would struggle against this Jags defense. They did. I wasn't even not that worried about Blake Bortles. But I didn't anticipate a damn kickoff return for a touchdown and a block punt for a touchdown. So, you know, good on the Rams. The Rams are playing good football. They're for real. This game is in London. This game is in London. The Rams and the Cardinals game. So the Rams are laying 3.5 in London. Minus 175 in London. I just want to be clear that the game's in London. Arizona plus 155 money line in London. And the total is 47 in London. Twickenham Stadium, not Wembley, Twickenham. Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are an interesting team right now with the Packers out of the way, except the Cowboys have to get their crap together. Coming off the bye week, nice situation for the Cowboys to be playing San Francisco. San Francisco is a competitive team, though, but 5.5 points. Total is 46.5. Cowboys minus 245 on the money line. San Francisco plus 205 on the money line. New York Giants shock the football world. They lose everybody, and then they step into Denver, and they win as 13.5-point underdogs, plus 650 money line outright. Now this number feels a little low to me with Seattle only laying 5.5 here. I'm looking at Seattle. I think Seattle win this football game. New York had everybody, trash them. They lost everybody. The Denver Broncos didn't take them seriously. The fact that the Giants beat the Broncos will pique the Seahawks' interest more here, too. It's not like, oh, this Giants team sucks. They're 0-6. Like, look, they just beat the Denver Broncos. We got to take these guys seriously. It's 5.5 points. Speaking of the Denver Broncos, LA Chargers. Momentum. Chargers on a little bit of a run right now. Chargers go back home to their legion of 13 fans. Chargers minus 1.5 against the Broncos. Money line minus 128. Over under 41.5. All right, this Sunday nighter is big-time stuff. We have the Atlanta Falcons. They're getting an even 3 points right now. The total's climbed up to 55. It opened up in the 53.5 range. 55 at YouWager right now. Pats are minus 185. Interesting statistic about the New England Patriots. They were the first team in NFL history after Winston threw for more than 300 to give up more than 300 passing yards in the first 5 games of the year. Now they're the first team to do it in 6 games. Every quarterback is throwing for 300 or more yards against the New England Patriots this year. So, Matt Ryan's going to have some success here. This is a big game for the Falcons after coming off the Super Bowl loss to this team, blowing the lead last week to Miami. The Dolphins coming back, and now them having to play. Look, they lost to the Bills as well. They've been outscored 33-7 in the second half of the last 2 football games against AFC East teams. Now they have to play another AFC East team in the New England Patriots, who happen to be the best AFC East team. I want to take the Falcons in a revenge spot here, but it's a tough game. I do like the over 55, similar to the Super Bowl. It's going to get there. There'll be a lot of points put up on the board in this game. And then finally, in closing, Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun. We mentioned the Eagles. The Redskins are a dangerous team. Eagles win this game, man. I think they got San Francisco coming up after that. They could really go on a little bit of a run, this team. This is a big game, man. Big game. I'm not so sure. I'm not running to the window right now. I'm not running to the window right now to lay the 4.5 points with the Eagles, although I'm getting tired of losing money betting against the Eagles. I'm doing a little quick research on the fly here. Let me just pop this up because I'll tell you what, the NFC East division is the biggest division in football where the history repeats itself all the time. Certain teams just beat each other all the time in this division. And this is a series in which the Washington Redskins have owned, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Redskins have won 5 of the last 6 games outright against the Philadelphia Eagles. They split last year. Before that, Washington was on a 5-0 ATS, straight up and ATS run. It's incredible, actually. Looking at the numbers, the last 10 times they played, the Washington Redskins have covered 7 of them. And they've won a lot of these games outright. So we'll break that game down on YouWager this weekend edition with the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart. It's always fun breaking it down with Cam. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. Just sort of set the table for the week for you guys. Like I said, I'm not locking in any of my best bets right now or anything. But for the Thursday nighter, I do lean with the Chiefs at -3 in that game. I like the Jags minus the. I like a lot of these road favorites, which is pretty dangerous. But I like the Titans 5.5. I like, but I can't lay 5.5 on the road. Jags, I'll lay the 3 on the road against the Colts. I'm tempted by the Bengals +5. I do like the Dolphins a lot, minus the 3. I think the Panthers beat the Bears minus the 3. I like the Seahawks minus the 5.5. And I like the Falcons and the Patriots over 55 the most as of right now. But NBA basketball is back. YouWager's got player props. They got teasers. 5% juice on Friday night, guys. If you're betting on Friday, Friday's a big night in the gaming world. 5% juice isn't a bad thing to take advantage of. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. We encourage you to go over to youwager.eu. Use the promo code SPORTSRAGE. Get a 100% sign-up bonus up to like $1,100 or something like that. You got some great bonuses, great contests, free contests over at YouWager as well. So check the book out, guys. You can never have too many sports accounts. So always good to be able to go shopping for line value. Other than that, we'll see you on Friday. YouWager this week, weekend edition with me and the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours, guys.